Hello, fellow Force users. I decided to revisit this saber because other than the Gen 3s and the Kyber's Basic, this is the one saber that I really get asked just a lot of questions about. And I decided to revisit it because, I reviewed it, months and months ago when it was just to me a saber that I bought from someone on eBay that was distributing it from China, and things have changed. So the one thing to be known is this saber is readily available on the Sabermach website. That's Sabermach, and it's called the SG54, and it was available for a time, and then it sold out, and now it is back. And I had noticed that not only is it in stock, but it's been upgraded and it hasn't increased in cost. I don't remember the exact cost, but it is now equipped with RGB, so it has 14 different colors, and also comes with a white flash on clash, along with the features that it normally comes with. So what you have here is a hilt that has a 7/8 inch blade, and currently it's equipped with a 32-inch variant. Don't mind this sink. This is there's a reason why I'm doing this over here, mostly because I've been getting requests for what I'm going to do. Now, mind you, this is the older version. This just has a single color, and it also, as far as the flash on clash, is just sort of a flicker. So this is the older version. So take that with a grain of salt. So the newer one that you would, if you buy one, is going to be much improved over this saber. Now, believe it or not, I actually own a ruler, so it makes it a little bit difficult for me to give you the actual measurement of this thing. But suffice to say, my hand just about covers it, and I have pretty big hands, but they're not that big, so that kind of gives you a bit of an idea. This is a smaller hilt. It's mon petit. And so what do we have here? Well, you have a saber that comes in 3 different finishes. I believe it comes in a gray, which is what this is, kind of a high polished silver, and it also comes in black. And you have your blade retention screw here. This hole right here is kind of a window. Light goes through that. You got your LED retention screw, on-off switch, which also functions as a blaster block, and you double tap this for lockup sound. This screw, I would imagine, holds the electronics in place, and then you have another screw to hold in electronics in place. This is a recharge port, and this comes with a cord. And I don't know if I knew this when I did the review before. I didn't actually rewatch my video because I wanted to come in and kind of do this thing cold. But I recharged this morning, and it was mostly charged. And when it's charging, it illuminates red. It backlights red. But I found out that when it's done charging, this one actually turns green and lets you know that it's done charging. So that's really nice. So I'll just kind of give you the one into the other. You've got your, let's see if I can get some light in here. You've got, this is great background material, huh? You've got kind of a mesh that protects the speaker. And this thing has, I can't tell you anything particular, but it has pretty decent sound. It's a very smooth finish with a nice taper in the middle. And what I like about it is it has this kind of like weird finish where it looks like they kind of went over it with a wire brush or something, and it kind of creates this almost like a pattern, like a tiger stripe pattern. And I find that rather appealing, and it has that little bit of that micro knurling kind of, that sort of a texture to it, very much like an Ultra Saber, and I always kind of like that finish. So you got a slanted S-type emitter, and there you go. So turning it on is a simple matter of just hit the button, it's on. The swing's a little bit sensitive. This just comes with one font. I believe that the new version only comes with one font as well, but it's possible it might be an upgraded sound quality. And of course you have your clash. Then you have your strange little blaster block. You can't rapid fire this. You have to kind of just tap it, and it's not the best blaster block in the world. Double tap gives you your lockup. Double tap turns it off. So this is the point of why I'm doing it here, because I had requests. So now you get to see what this looks like at night in the dark. And I'll show you the so there's a bunch of clash sounds. Alright, so let's swing this around a bit. I have to switch hands here. Bear with me. This is a really small saber, but not unpleasant. Now, because the switch sort of protrudes a little bit, you have this tendency to sort of, oh, there's Darth Inky, everybody. Hello, Darth Inky. It's a little bit sensitive. You can hear it kind of flipping out a little bit. I don't know. It's possible that the SG, they call it the SG54 RGB, may have a little bit better accelerometer on it. You have to be careful of this switch. It does protrude, so that tends to lead to misfires, and you can not really accidentally turn the saber off, but you can fire off the blaster block like I always do, because it's right in the middle of the main choke point here, so it's really inevitable. It's gonna happen. You should just kind of live with it. So that happens a lot, and there's no way around it other than to choke it more towards the pommel or more towards the hilt. But it's such a small saber that for my hands, and I have wandering hands on a hilt, so you know, it's just I can't keep my hand like fixed here, so that doesn't happen. And still be able to do my normal tricks and whatnot, but. This is kind of perfect for a younger person with smaller hands, and I think that's the point of it. I don't think this costs more than something like $60 to $75, but I think it's totally worth it. But I much prefer a switch that's a little bit more recessed. I actually prefer a switch that's like so recessed in that you have to actually stick your finger into the saber in order to turn it off or on. And yeah, so of course you can do this. Kind of standard Chinese saber sort of sound font. So yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to double down. I'm gonna put a link on the I'm not going to really do much in the way of a description this time. I'm just going to kind of name the saber. And this is kind of a brand new, treating this as a kind of a brand new review. And the only thing I'm going to do is put a link to the webpage where you can find this. Now, if you want to purchase this saber, the older version, there are sellers on eBay that still offer them because they're readily available, because I think they're still mass produced. If you've seen Chinese sabers before, a lot of times they'll have RGB versions or single color versions of the same hilt being sold by different distributors. It's really kind of like a mass market kind of affair, you know, not like in our country where, you know, the companies tend to be a little bit insular from one another, and they don't really, you know, cross with their designs. They'll do like their own version of a, say, like a Fallen Order saber. I mean, every single company has their own version of that. But these Chinese sabers tend to be a bit homogenous, and it's all a matter of who you're buying it from, their reputation, and how much they're willing to charge. But generally speaking, they're not very expensive. So if you're new to the hobby, it's kind of worth at least buying a couple of them before moving on to bigger and better things. This is, after all, just kind of an introductory saber. It's no frills, real basic meat and potatoes. But the new version being RGB, I'm working ass. So you can actually you can loosen the blade retention screw and take this blade out. Now this blade is, it's diffused ish, but it's really chintzy. You could probably get yourself a much better 7/8 inch blade from like the Custom Saber Shop, or or maybe even Saber Forge. I don't know if they sell 7/8. It's not really a size that they carry, so I would rely on the Custom Saber Shop, and you can actually get like a heavy dueling blade. And the blade kind of recesses, I think, since the blade retention screws here and the LEDs here, so probably about to there where my thumb is. So that's plenty deep enough. I mean, once you tighten this thing, I mean, this is, it's in there pretty solid, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. So I would say you could duel with this thing. If you really couldn't competitive duel, because this switch is a real problem. That's my only complaint about this saber, is that this sticks out. If this were indented by about 1/8 of an inch, it would probably be much better. But the fact that it sticks out just kind of negates its usefulness in some regards. But as just a fun lightsaber to have and to mess around with, it's not too bad. So anyway, so that's my revisit of the Sabermach SG54 lightsaber. I'm considering getting their Makaze. But when I do that, I'm probably going to be getting some powder coating on it. So I've been buying too many sabers, and I have to really kind of, I'm going to continue buying sabers. I'm always doing reveals. I'm spending money. I'm buying these things, but I have to kind of spread these things out a bit and be a little bit, more cognizant of, being able to make sure that I don't overdo it. At any rate, so that's pretty much it for this review. So I hope everyone has a wonderful evening, and I appreciate you watching. So, go ahead and subscribe if you feel like it. If you're going to like my video, you can like it, or you can dislike it. Some people have disliked my videos. I don't know why. Maybe it's the voices that I do. Anyway, to each their own. All right. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!